Hey, good day. This is another episode of the Rob Report on the Go. I'm your host, Robert Bob TV Brown. Here we go again with this BS. Trump tied Ukraine aid to inquiries he sought. Bolton's book says. So they going to the point where we got to get some kind of dirt on Trump to the point to get the Republicans on our side to get him out of office that we going to read John Bolton's book. You going to read John Bolton's book. I'm telling you. All right, so let's go over this. President Trump told his national security advisor in August that he wanted to continue to freezing $391 million in security assistance to Ukraine until officials there help with investigation into Democrats, including Biden, according to the unpublished manuscript by the former advisor John R. Bolton. So number one, this is unpublished. Number two, according to this, they say President Trump told his national security. Now, you know how the Democrats are. They love to twist words. The book hasn't been published yet. So how are you going to know if what they're saying is true? Because 9 times out of 10, knowing how they lie, know how all of them lie, it's not true. I'm trying to put the nearest front page story to try to bring the numbers down on this president. It said the president's statement, as described by Mr. Bolton, could undercut elements of his impeachment defense, that the holding up in aid was separate from Mr. Trump's request that Ukraine announce investigation into his perceived enemy, including former Vice President Joseph R. Biden, I don't know why they keep calling him that, and his son Hunter Biden, who had worked for the Ukrainian energy firm while his father was in office. So let's undress this a bit. Trump has every right to freeze the income. Let me go back. The role of these government leaders is, this is taxpayers' money. And it needs to go to where it needs to go to benefit the American people. Now, to me, I got no problem of Trump freezing up $391 million in security assistance if the American people need it more than Ukraine. Why are we sending millions and billions and trillions of dollars to these other countries? I'm with him on that part of what they call so-called nationalism, nation first, United States first. I'm with him. Why are we spending that money over there when they can produce their own oil and get that money? Why are we sending them money in the first place? Now, it's just not about that. They're claiming that he held the money back in order to investigate the Bidens, but don't want to look into the Bidens. The president's statement, as described by Mr. Bolton, so they allege, remember this is all according to an unpublished book. Now, how did they get a copy of the unpublished book? All right, so Mr. Bolton's explosive account of the matter at the center of Mr. Trump's impeachment trial says the third in American history was included in drafts of a manuscript that has circulated in recent weeks to close associates. So this is all based on a manuscript of a book that has circulated in recent weeks to close associate. So here we are. We got the news media, I call them the lamestream media, allegedly reporting about something and putting it on the front page. This is how corrupt the news media is. You're going to put in the front page of a story an accusation, an assumption based off of nothing. Based off of nothing. You haven't looked at the book. You haven't read the manuscript. You just say this is the manuscript that has circulated in a recent week to close associates. Did the close associates show you the manuscript that gave you enough confidence to put this in as a headpiece in an article in this particular paper? It also says he also sent a draft to the White House for a standard review process for some current and foreign administrative officials who write books. Now, why would he, if this thing is incriminating, why would he send it to the White House? Why? Oh boy, these people in their effort to do anything by any means necessary. Multiple people describe Mr. Bolton's account of the Ukraine affair. The book presents an outline of what Mr. Bolton might testify to if he's. Hold up, let's go back now. The book presents an outline of what Mr. Bolton might testify if he is called to witness in a Senate impeachment trial. Number one, there's no books. It's a manuscript, and you fools have not read it, and you just assuming that this man is going to turn on Trump. And I'm telling you, he ain't going to turn on Trump. He's going to end up looking like a doggone fool.
I can't do the people when she's like that.
The White House could use a pre-publication review process, which has no set time frame, to delay or even kill the book publication or omit key passages. Over a dozen pages, allegedly, Mr. Bolton described how the Ukraine affair unfolded over several months until he departed the White House in September. He described not only the president's private disparagement of Ukraine, but also new details about senior cabinet officials who have publicly tried to sidestep the involvement. Now, here's the gang of fools. I call them the gang of hate. They couldn't get their goals achieved in the House. They couldn't get it achieved with of course they got their goal achieved in the House. Bullied it. Despite anything, they already had their mind made up. And the reason they went that route because the Robert Mueller thing didn't get it done, so they figured they'll get it done, and they did. Now they want to bully the Senate into getting it done. Now, let's say, for an example, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, Mr. Lie, Cheat, and Steal. Eddie Guerrero ain't got nothing on Mike Pompeo. He acknowledged privately that there was no basis to claim by the president lawyer Rudolph W. Giuliani that the ambassador to Ukraine was corrupt and believed Mr. Giuliani may have been acting on behalf of other clients, Mr. Bolton wrote. Now, again, they never said they had a hand of this manuscript. This is all poppycock. This is all just made up bull. Mr. Bolton also said that after the President July phone call with the president of Ukraine, he raised with Attorney General William Barr his concerns about Giuliani, who was pursuing a shadow Ukraine policy encouraged by the president, and told Mr. Barr that the president had mentioned him on the call. A spokesperson for Mr. Barr denied that he learned of the call from Mr. Bolton. The Justice Department has said he learned about it on mid-August. Now, if you listen to the transcript, you'll find out that he did mention Giuliani and how he was the mayor and blah, 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 blah. And again, pursuing a shadow Ukraine policy. Really? This man was trying to pursue a policy on behalf of the president. Now, the policy could be crap, because just about everything I've seen that he do, foreign policy-wise, is crap. But to make it look like a shadow policy, really? This is all about shadow, darkness, alleged crookedness. I mean, you're going to see a video today of John, later today on the Rod Report, of Don Sweet as Lemonade, talking about how just the impeachment process and the time it come on is a dark process. A cloud of darkness. Get out of here with this mess. And the acting White House Chief of Staff, Mick Mulvaney, was present for at least one phone call where the president and Mr. Giuliani discussed the ambassador. Mr. Bolton wrote that Mr. Mulvaney has told associate he would always step away when the president spoke with his lawyers to protect the attorney-client privilege. It's what you need to. You should. That's what you're supposed to do. And during the previously report, May 23rd meeting with top advisors, Senator Ron Johnson, Republican of Wisconsin, briefed him about their own trip to Kyiv for the investigation of President Volodymyr Zelensky. Mr. Trump railed about Ukraine trying to damage him and mentioned the conspiracy theory about the hacked Democratic server, according to Mr. Bolton. Well, first of all, whoever writing this article, that is not a conspiracy theory. The server is hacked. Nobody found the server yet. They need to bring the server in. Now, Charles J. Cooper, a lawyer for Mr. Bolton, declined to comment. The White House did not provide response to questions about Mr. Bolton's assertion, and representatives from Mr. Johnson, Mr. Pompeo, and Mr. Mulvaney did not respond to emails and call seeking comment on Sunday afternoon. Well, today is Sunday afternoon. Mr. Bolton's submission of the book to the White House may have given the White House lawyers direct insight on what Mr. Bolton would say if he were called to testify at Mr. Trump's impeachment trial. Here they go again, assuming. It also intensifies concerns among some of his advisors what they needed to block Mr. Bolton from testifying, according to two people familiar with their concerns. The White House had ordained Mr. Bolton and other key officials with firsthand knowledge of Mr. Trump's dealing not to cooperate with the impeachment inquiry. Mr. Bolton said in a statement that this month that he would testify if subpoenaed. In recent days, now if you subpoena this guy, you really think he's going to go along with you guys? In recent days, some White House officials have described Mr. Bolton as disgruntled former employee and have said he took notes that he should have left behind when he departed the administration. Now, you guys are just looking for anything to get this person on. And you're assuming all this stuff. You're trying to make it seem like these people are going to turn on Trump. You did that during the Mueller investigation. With all this evidence, they're going to turn on this man. Come on, people. This is a waste of my energy and most people's energy. You want the man out of office, vote him out. Mr. Trump told reporters last week that he did not want Mr. Bolton to testify and said that even if he simply spoke out publicly, he could damage national security. And look, they are pursuing a national security policy with Ukraine. The problem with John is it's a national security problem, Mr. Trump said at the news conference in Davos, Switzerland. He knows some of my thoughts. He knows what I think about leaders, what happened if he reveals what I think about certain leaders, and it's not very positive. It's going to make my job very easy. So in other words, Trump probably talked crap, as he normally do, about different leaders, but he's trying to work with these leaders, and if they know how he really feel about them, it's going to make things difficult, and it's supposed to. Why are you telling people what you think about other people anyway? Keep that stuff on the inside.
Did you just shut? I just saw him.
The Senate impeachment trial could end as early as Friday without witness testimony. Democrats in both House and Senate have pressed for weeks to include any new witness and documents that did not surface during the House impeachment hearings. To be fair,
Yes, I did, and I'm very
focus on persuading the handful of Republican senators they would need to join them to succeed. Yeah. But a week into the trial, most lawyers said the chance of 51 senators agreeing to call witnesses are dwindling, not growing. Mr. Bolton would likely like to testify for several reasons, according to the associates. He believes he has irrelevant information. He has also expressed concerns that if his account of the Ukraine affair emerges only after the trial, he will be accused of holding back to increase his book sales. Mr. Bolton, 71, a fixture of conservative national security circles since his days in the Reagan administration, joined the White House in 2018 after several people recommended him to the president, including Republican mega-donor Sheldon Adelson. But Mr. Bolton and Mr. Trump soared on each other over several global crises, including Iranian aggression, Mr. Trump's posture toward Russia, and ultimately the Ukraine matter. Mr. Bolton was also often at odds with Mr. Pompeo and Mr. Mulvaney throughout his time in the administration. Key to Mr. Bolton. Now, let me stop right there. John Bolton is a war hawk. He thirsts for war. I mean, his nipples get hard when you mention war. Man, you mention war, boy, he ready to take his clothes off. It turns him on. Not only that, Elian Abrams is a war hawk. And Trump surrounded himself with those war hawks, which makes him a wannabe war hawk himself. But this is one thing I can say about him. He's not quick to go into, not real quick. Now, John Bolton been his national security advisors. Do you really think that John Bolton, being a member of the national security team, is going to go to the impeachment trial to spill out Trump's national security information. No, he can't. So find something else and find somebody else. He cannot spill the beans about his relationship with Trump and national security. That's the whole point of being a national security advisor, meaning national security. He is not obligated, and he will be criminally obligating himself to go to jail to give that information to try to get this man out of office. What stupid man is going to put himself in a position that he's going to go to a federal prison just to appease people who want to get this fool out of office? You people got to use your head on this stuff. Not you, but people in general. Your hatred for this stupid man in office, and he, in my opinion, he is stupid. Your hatred is starting to show. When this man is talking about a witch hunt, your hatred for him make it look like he's on you guys trying to hunt him. I told you there's 2 charges you can get him on. Go pursue that, not this stupid mess. But you're too much of a punk to pursue him on that charges, because if you look at the records of each politician on both sides on Capitol Hill, you'll find out they all violate the Monument Clause. So they're not going to put themselves in jeopardy to try to strike on him over the Emolument Clause when they've broken that law themselves. And what at the end of the day, no matter what, politicians are going to cover politicians. They don't care about you. Democratic and Republican don't give a crap about you. They're going to cover themselves. That's why at the end of the day, they're still friends. Oh, Trump and Hillary Clinton still friends. Don't let them fool you on that mess. Oh, their kids are still buddies. They grew up together. It's WWE. They just doing this stuff on TV for you. At the end of the day, that knucklehead fool increased the taxes on you, the regular people, but all these politicians in office right now are benefiting from his tax cut. Nancy Pelosi benefiting from his tax cut. Hillary Clinton benefiting from his tax cut. All these people are 100 millionaires. How much money you got in your account? I'm telling you, don't trust none of these people because they don't give a crap about you. It's all political posture to kind of appease to you. Now, I can finish the article, but I'm not. It's too long. You go ahead and read it. At the end of the day, here it is. They putting this news article out here. Let me see who's the editor who put this out. Maggie Haberman and Michael S. Smith. Trump tied Ukraine aid to inquiries he sought, Bolton book said. In this article, there is no book. There's a transcript. There's what they call manuscript of a book that haven't been printed yet, and it went to certain people, and nobody said they seen the manuscript. There is no book, John Bolton book, at this moment, but they're going to put it in front page bold in the New York Times, Bolton book says. There is no Bolton book. There's a manuscript going around that could possibly lead to a book. And even in this article, they said it's circled around some of Bolton's friends. They never mentioned that they talked to Bolton's friend. This is why I hate media today. Nobody's telling the truth. Fox, Blaze, all them, bunch of lies. MSNBC, CNN, bunch of liars. They all going to tell you what they want. They're going to tell you the story, and they expect you to believe it. And they know you're not going to challenge them. They know you're not going to look for yourself because you trust the news. I don't trust conservative news. I don't trust liberal news. Because at the end of the day, what are they doing for you? They both playing team Republican, team Democrat. None of them on your team. What have they done for you? And I keep telling you people, just go look at the record of your politicians on both sides. They're horrible. None of them vote in your best interest. Now, the Republicans are bad, but the Democrats are trying to top the Republican. Bad enough, the Republican was on this witch hunt to try to get stuff on Obama from the weapons thing with the AG. I can't remember his name right now. Now it's the Democrats trying to do it on the Republican side. It's this back and forth that I can't stand it. It makes me puke. There is no John Bolton book. There is none. At this moment, there is none. They even say it in this article. There's a manuscript going around that has been handed off to a couple of people the White House have a copy of the manuscript, and the purpose of the manuscript is so you can go make adjustments in the book before it becomes a book. And they're assuming because somebody told them what was in the manuscript is true, which they don't have no way of finding out. That's why I'm a documentation person. I'm an evidence person. Don't just tell me stuff. Show me. I'm not, when they say intelligence sources says, I don't listen to that mess. What intelligence source? Show me. Show me. Mike Pompeo said, I was in charge of CIA. We taught people how to lie, cheat, and steal. We wrote it in your manual. You seen the video I put up. We taught people how to lie. Y'all gonna sit there and listen to that man. They call it politics for a reason. Many bloodsuckers. And they sucking the blood of the American people, both parties. And they have not done nothing for the black man in a long time, let alone average working people. Here I am, sitting up here. You know, I'm a union organizer. I'm fighting for workers' rights. I do that all day, every day. And here's Joe Biden sitting up here taking money from union busters, people who bust up unions. You want somebody to vote for you, and you sitting up here taking donations from people who thrive on busting unions. Same thing with, I mean, look, last time I was at TWU, and they decided to endorse Senator Sanders. All right. He ran all the way down to, after he had the TWU endorse me, he ran down to the Verizon strike that was happening at Flatbush Extension. So Sanders doing this rally, he was out there for a couple hours. 2 days later, here come Hillary Clinton. She wouldn't even rally. She just came to do a photo op, take a couple pictures, she was gone. She didn't rally with those workers, and a couple of those workers was upset with her because she just recently did a speech with Verizon executives and got paid for that speech, and then she gonna come down there and act like she's with those workers. Get out of here. Anyway, I'm done. All right, so again, they're making this article up. There is no Bolton book yet. And don't you dare think John Bolton is going to turn his back on anybody. John Bolton was a national security advisor for a lot of presidents. Reagan, Bush, Trump, and he know a lot of top secret stuff. And he's not allowed to mention these things. I mean, he'll testify, but he may, once you get him on that stand, he may plead the fifth. And all the time, pleading the fifth don't mean you're guilty. It's just some things I can't talk to you about because it's a matter of law. I'm not going to jail for you. I'd rather go to jail for 1 year than versus 20, 30, 40 years in a federal prison. So don't expect that man to turn his back on that fool Trump. It's not going to happen. Anyway, I'm Rob Brown with the Rob Report on the go. I'll let you later. Peace.